You were out doing the bomb disposal and such. Was that work for you?
Be Nice Individuals Podcast.
Hey folks, this is Thaddeus. I'm on the Be Nice Individuals Podcast, which is hosted here at the Flagler Voice Podcast Studio. Have a special guest here, Danny from Off the Hook Mobile Oil Change. He does more than just oil change. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk, have a great conversation. Danny, it's great to have you here in studio.
Thanks for having me.
So, I know you do more than oil change, but we're going to talk about oil change, how you got in the business. We were talking a little bit off camera before we started. We were talking about your vehicle wrap and how that has caused so many people to reach out and contact you. And guys, if you've seen like his vehicle driving around in Palm Coast and St. Augustine and stuff, you've probably heard of his company, but now we got him in studio. So tell me a little bit about your vehicle wrap and what really made you want to put that on your vehicle to get that attention.
Well, the vehicle wrap it's our brand, so we want that to be out there so that people can contact us, and we stand out amongst our competitors, or you can see us when we're traveling around the roads.
Yeah. One thing you also mentioned is, like today, for instance, before the podcast, there was a young lady that had reached out to you, or actually went on the website because she saw your truck out there on the street and she saw Off the Hook Mobile Oil Change, and she went on directly on the website and booked you, being that she saw your vehicle out there, which I think is fantastic. You said that you invested in this vehicle wrap that has paid for itself, and just being out there, especially being like a mobile business like yourself, being in these different areas. So that's pretty cool. Tell me about how the business started.
Kind of did it because I wanted to work out amongst the community, to give back to the community. I like working with people,
Mm-hmm.
and doing the oil changes kind of gets me like in the door to do other services. Doing the oil changes, anybody can do an oil change.
I can't.
Well, any mechanic, typically when I do an oil change, it leads to, this is broken my vehicle. This needs fixed.
Yeah.
Because I usually end up donating a lot of my time. So I don't always, it's not about a money making business to me.
Mm-hmm.
What do? I donate a lot of my time and my services
Mm-hmm.
to different charities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the people that I work with, they would tell you that.
Is that kind of what made you start the business?
I get to go out and help people that don't have the time to go do it.
Yeah. But a lot of people, especially now, with the trades having diminished in size, the amount of people that are actually going into trades, a lot of people don't know how to do an oil change. And I'm sure I could figure it out, but I don't want to necessarily, and so I'd rather leave it to an expert who will do it right, make sure the filter is correct and all that stuff, because I don't want to mess up my car. And kind of in that sense, having that expertise and meeting somebody where they are instead of having to drag their kids or whatever out to a shop, that's a service, and it's helping the community, So in that sense, I think you're definitely helping. It kind of gone down the line of what got you into it, though. And like, did you grow up doing kind of mechanic work, or how did you kind of fall into it?
But I did grow up doing it because I was forced to work on my own vehicles.
Forced?
Well, because I couldn't afford nice stuff, so I had to fix my own vehicles when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I joined the military working in mechanics. I was trained as a mechanic in the military.
Yeah.
So I did that in the military for a couple of years.
A couple of years? I think earlier you were saying, somebody said like 20 years. Was it the mechanic in the military was a short period of time, or when you were being modest. Let's say how long it was.
Well, I was a mechanic for 6 years in the military. 15 years I was. I guess I was EOD. I was kind of like their bomb in the bomb squad.
Oh, wow. Well, first off, thank you for your service. I could not imagine. Were you like in Iraq and Afghanistan? How long ago was this?
I retired in 2012, so it was in the heat of the battle.
Yeah, and definitely with the IEDs and such like that, I'm sure that was a huge part of what you did. So again, from everybody that's watching, will watch, thank you for your service. You were a mechanic though first in the military, and then you went to I don't know exactly what you called it, but you were dealing with bombs.
So you just switch jobs. That's how the military does it.
Yeah. But you grew up working on things because you were kind of in a situation that kind of pushed you in that direction to take care of what you had, and having that skill set just naturally led to this path and actually creating your own business. Could you have imagined back then that this was where you'd end up with, like you were just thinking like, I'm working on something because I can't afford necessarily for somebody else to do it, but now you've created a whole business surrounding that. Yeah. Could you imagine that you being here now? That's cool.
Well, I mean, I've got other businesses, so
Yeah.
I guess after I retired, I had other businesses in other states that I live in that were totally different than automobile.
Oh yeah.
They're retail businesses in other states. So
Yeah.
now, so it's kind of like just, it's evolved into, another passion.
Yeah.
So now, I've always worked on my own vehicles my whole life.
Yeah.
So now I'm just doing something that that I've always done, and every once in a while somebody gives me money to do it.
It's lovely though that you can do something that you actually find pleasure in. Not many people, I feel like not many people are able to go work. I was going to say go to a job, but just work in general, doing something they love. Because what's that quote? If you do what you love, you never work a day in your life, or something like that.
Yeah.
You believe in that, I assume.
Yeah, I haven't worked since I was 17 years old.
That's awesome. Even when you were out doing the bomb disposal and such, was that work for you?
No, sure wasn't.
Really?
No.
So, tell me more about that, because I have no idea exactly. Would you go out and find the bombs, and just what would you?
It wasn't my job to find them. It's my job to take care of.
Okay, so after somebody found it, you would go out and disarm. Oh wow, that sounds stressful.
Well, not really. Not for somebody like me, or a person that is trained. You know what I'm saying? A person, the kind of people that do that work, it's really not stressful.
Really? But so I imagine the bombs may be slightly different trigger switches and stuff like that. And you don't know exactly if you're going to go in there and it's going to be different this time. You're going to hit the wrong thing and boom. What? No.
You're correct. You don't know, but it's still not stressful.
Really? Is it just because your demeanor? So you come off as like a really patient, very, what's the good word? Relaxed. You're relaxed. Is that who they're like, yes, you need to go disarm the bomb? Not the high-strung person, but the relaxed person.
Yeah.
Do you think that's part of like how a person might end up on that path in the military?
Yeah. Well, the type of people that are attracted to that work, they've done studies on that. The people who do that work, that when they're in a stressful situation, that their heart rate actually goes down.
Really? Interesting. Yeah. I like that. I couldn't imagine doing it, but I definitely like that. Yeah. Hats off to you. So with being a mechanic now, I feel like, well, would you say there's still stress, or well, Daddy, you just don't get stressed. That's what it is. You say you weren't getting stressed when you were disarming a bomb. So oil change could be like negative amount of stress. I love that. Do you like go on walks? How do you keep from getting stressed? So everybody has some stress at some point. But how do you, your demeanor, how do you keep that balance?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Is it just natural, or do you do something each day to keep just grounded and balanced?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's natural, but
Mm-hmm.
I think I did. I don't know. I mean, you seen me when I came in. That was
Yeah.
probably that's as stressful as I get.
Yeah.
And that was being overbooked.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens. Now, kind of when we opened, though, we talked about mobile oil change. The name, people might think, okay, just oil change. But you were talking a little bit ago, and this is going back to that. You were talking, you might end up at a place to work on somebody's vehicle, and you might discover other things need working on too. Can you talk to that, like different services you offer besides just oil changes?
Yeah, I do. You know, minor vehicle repairs. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, like brake changes. I'm trying to think of pretty much any vehicle repair that can be done outside of a garage. So if it's a, you know, spark plug changes, belt
Mm-hmm.
changes, and stuff like that. But you know, if it's something that is going to take more than a couple hours, then it needs to be done in a garage.
Yeah.
I won't do that work. It needs to go to a garage, somebody better, more capable, so they can do it in the garage.
Sure. Now, do you do brakes as well? That sort of thing? Okay. So, what don't you do is a question.
Well, engine replacement, engine breakdown, engine or transmission replacements, engine rebuilds of transmissions. And really, that's like the most repairs can be done pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's something that there's a lot of things that actually can turn into major repairs.
Yeah.
If it's something that's like that seems simple but can turn to a major repair, I won't even start it
Mm-hmm.
because it can turn into a major repair.
Yeah.
I won't even start something that's like that.
Yeah.
But there's quite a bit of, mechanic work. Most repairs I will work on simply because they're really not that hard.
Sure.
So most things I will work on, but there's a handful of things that I won't. I know that sounds kind of dumb, but it really just depends on what it is.
Yeah.
If it's an internal to the engine, like if it's a valve problem, internal of the engine, internal of the transmission, most of those things I won't touch at all because it could get large quick.
Sure.
large.
Sure. Yeah. You don't want to necessarily like have to close it back up. Okay, it was a little bit more complex than I thought. So you'd rather the customer know that ahead of time and go to somewhere where it can all be taken care of there and there's no issues, so to speak. So, any closing remarks that you might have as it relates to your business, anything like that?
We like to provide a good honest business and providing oil changes, and also our other mechanical work. Just like to provide honest work, good honest work.
Yeah. Well, I love that. And again, thank you for your service. Thank you for creating this business that is actually helping the community. Like I mentioned before, a lot of people aren't going into the trades like they used to. So there's a lot of people, including myself, I don't know how to do an oil change. Could I learn? Yeah, but I don't want to. And it's great that there are people out there that are still providing these services and making it convenient for people that maybe they have kids. Like my son, for instance, I go to Walmart to get an oil change or something like that. He'll be running all over the place. But now knowing that you go out there and you make it where it's easy, I love that. Yeah, I could be sitting there playing a video game instead of sitting in Walmart. So again, thank you for creating this business. And folks out there, make sure you reach out to Danny with Off the Hook Mobile Oil Change. Again, in the name, you're hearing oil change, but he does some other things. So get him out to assess your vehicle, see what it needs. He can be the honest voice to help you get your vehicle in tip-top shape. So again, this is Thaddeus on the Be Nice Individuals podcast, which was recorded here at the Flagler Voice Podcast studio. And if you've seen some of the other shows, remember, this is a space for rent where people can come out and have their voice heard. People that have businesses, you can come out, shout out your business. People that have ideas that just want to talk. Perfect spot for that. People that are running for office. This is a great way to reach out to your constituents. We have call-in features here. Great way to connect with the public. So again, we'll see you next time.